We're recording.
Right. Well, on that note, thank you everybody for stopping by. It is Thirsty Thursday as always, and it is time for the Sammies and Beer podcast. With me as always is Thomas. Thomas, how are you today?
Matt, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's Thursday. We got snow this last week.
Ugh.
So I've had to shovel. It's been glorious. It's white outside. So it's
That's racist.
It's a great time of year.
Okay. It's not.
It is.
No. I do love the holidays a little bit, though, so I will say. All of my girlfriend's presents came in. I'm happy.
That's good.
Hopefully she likes them. I was thinking about getting her a whiskey barrel from Jack Daniels, right? Thinking, maybe like $200-$300. Nothing crazy. $3,000.
Yeah, of course. It's a barrel.
But the barrels down the street at Rebecca Creek, they're like $200-$300.
So why didn't you get her one of those?
Because she doesn't like Rebecca Creek. She likes Jack Daniels.
Oh! Yeah.
So it's like, oh, well. I was like, I'm not fucking buying that, like, at all.
Yeah, that's a good Christmas present right there.
Yeah, 10 years from now.
When you got fuck around money.
Yeah, I don't have that right now. I'm sorry I'm winded. I did some push-ups beforehand.
Yeah, had to get the blood flowing, get yourself moving, get some energy.
Get pumped.
Yeah.
Get pumped.
Yeah. Most people just listen to music, but, you do you.
Well, it works. Now my arms hurt. In any case, I'm glad to be here. Today's topic, we're going to be deep diving into the Golden Girls, the reign of supremacy across all sitcoms, and it had Betty
Negative.
White.
It did have Betty White, but it is definitely like not even top 25 TV shows of all time.
I actually think they're all dead.
Well, I believe that they're all dead.
I think Betty White was the last one.
Yeah,
I think so. Also, definitely top 10. You just haven't watched it. You haven't even watched it.
I looked up ratings, and it's not even top 10 in any list.
Wow, so you're paying attention to what other people want you to think, Matt? You fucking sheep.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
All right, well then, what's your number one?
Well, I mean, you're getting us a little off base here.
Right.
Yes. I don't know if this is your first time being here, but Thomas, what we usually like to do on the Sammies and Beer podcast is we start our evening off with a shot.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
So, I don't know if you're first-time listener, but long-time listener, first-time caller, but...
First-time caller.
I'm
the one who uploads this shit.
Well, maybe you should listen a little bit more.
Guess so. All right, Mr. You do your shot first, then.
This is going to be kind of an easy one, but my shot is going out to the United States men's soccer team, as they have made it to the cutoff rounds of the soccer FIFA World Cup, and just goes to show you fucking America rocks. And if our best athletes were in soccer, we would dominate that shit too.
Probably not, but you know what?
Oh, for sure. You're telling me that you get Randy Moss with a soccer ball and spent fucking 10 years doing it?
Well, 10 years. That's different.
That's what all these guys are doing. I'm not saying they're going to be naturals coming out of the gate, but if they grew up playing it like every other country in the world does,
that's different.
It is different. You're right.
Take your shot.
Yeah. And I did go a shot glass.
Longhorns.
So
I do like it. I'm still using my Mexico one for my parents when they went to Mexico. You made me lose my train of thought. I'm not going to show that on the podcast. My shot today is near and dear to my heart. This one goes to the four ladies of the Golden Girls. You're missed. You were loved. Still one of the best sitcom television shows on the planet. So here's to you, ladies.
Not even top 10. Not
Be
even
ni-
top 25.
Be nice to the dead.
Why? You wanted to have sex with the queen.
I still would.
Exactly. Even after she's been dead for a month.
It's been more than a month.
I know.
I can't remember.
But you just said I still would.
Yeah. Well. Queen Slayer is what they call me.
So, I was thinking we could go about this kind of a couple different ways. But I would like to hear, like, kind of go in order. You can pick like a top 5 and maybe a top 3, top 2, top 1 of your favorite TV shows. And then let's get into it. Let's talk about the shows. Let's talk about some of the favorite parts, some of the things that you didn't like about them. I did pull up the Billboard's top 100 TV shows of all time, which I'll be honest, I thought was absolute garbage. Billboard, I'm super disappointed in everything that you put out.
Well, it should be
Billboard, Rolling Stone.
It should be Friends at number 1. That's what everyone loves.
You wanna know what Rolling Stone had the number 1 TV show? Golden Girls, 64 on the Rolling Stones top 100 list.
At least it made the list.
South Park was 63. So South Park was above Golden Girls.
Well, they knew what they were doing at South Park. I don't know.
Key and Peele is 59.
This is some bullshit.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can trust anything that
the Rolling Stone says.
The Rolling Stone magazine says.
Oh, I have it pulled up. I'll be honest, I haven't seen half of these. So,
I mean, they've got some old good ones on there. Monty Python. I loved Monty Python. I don't know if you've ever watched any.
I've seen the
They
movies.
did a good job. Better Call Saul at 32 was a little off for me, like a spin-off show. Don't get me wrong, it's been a great show. They have Game of Thrones at 31. I think Game of Thrones is for sure a top 20.
Game of Thrones just ended so poorly. A show can really be like make or break based on how it ends.
They have Parks and Recs at 30. Like, don't get me wrong, I thought Parks and Recs was hilarious. But top 30? I just...
Oh, God.
That...
IMDb says Lost is top 10.
Lost is top 10? Yeah. Which... Yeah, I mean, well, and technically, like, they have Planet Earth as number 1. I don't know if you can really call Planet Earth a TV show. I mean, it is, but... So technically they have Band of Brothers and Breaking Bad as they're tied for number 1.
Band of Brothers I get, but that's a mini series. I wouldn't really call that a TV show.
Breaking Bad, I can understand. Breaking Bad was a phenomenal TV show.
I never saw it.
I mean, for sure my top 5. Like, such a great watch. Like, a lot of good, just really good stuff in the show.
I've never seen The Sopranos either, and that's popping up on this list a lot.
Sopranos is the Rolling Stones' number 1 TV show of all time, and I strongly disagree with that.
I've never seen it. I can't.
I've watched The Sopranos. I mean, it's okay, but number 1, no, it's definitely not a number 1 TV show.
What blows me away is, like, where's Friends?
Friends is, yeah.
That's a beloved 32. That's a beloved TV show. Beloved.
I wonder where it is. IMDb.
I don't know, but I do like how Star Trek is typically high up on there. I mean, if it's been going for so long, Star Trek, Doctor Who.
Well, my father-in-law brought up a really interesting point on Star Trek. Because my wife always said, I was a big Star Wars fan and, watched a lot of that stuff. And he's older than me, obviously. He's my father-in-law.
Yes.
And I was like, were you a big Star Wars fan? Or, Brittany said you like to watch Star Trek. And what really got me is he goes, it's not that I didn't like Star Wars. He goes, but you had to pay to go to the theater to watch Star Wars. Star Trek was a TV show that you got for free.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's why Star Trek is probably more popular than Star Wars, because everybody could watch Star Trek and everybody still can watch Star Trek. And that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Friends on IMDb is number 48.
Okay, so this is what I wanted. Not the top rated. I wanted the most viewed, right? The shows that brought in the ratings, right? That brought in the views. Mm-hmm. And right now, this makes more sense. Breaking Bad at number 1 on views.
Yeah.
Followed directly behind, barely, by Game of Thrones.
Yep, that would make sense. I mean, Game of Thrones, when it was at its prime.
Oh, yeah. Friends at number 3. The Wire. I've never seen The Wire at number 4. The Sopranos, Suits, Entourage. Entourage, one of my favorite shows ever.
Entourage was a good show.
Wasn't it Mark Wahlberg who's like, this show's about my life? Something like that? Something crazy like that?
Pretty much. I mean, he's an executive producer on it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Entourage, I loved. And I loved watching it. But
where are you getting your list from? Because I'm looking at the IMDb 100 most watched TV shows.
I did top.
And it has.
I looked up. It's the first response to top most watched TV series of all time.
Yeah, I have the top 100 most watched TV shows of all time on IMDb, and it has Game of Thrones as number 1, and number 2 has Stranger Things.
Oh, Stranger Things makes sense.
3 is The Walking Dead.
Okay, this is TV Guide, so this might actually be. Oh God. Okay, maybe. Oh, it's going by season because Big Bang Theory is like number 69 through 8.
Yeah, this has Big Bang Theory at 12.
So this is the TV Guide, right? So this they know what they're doing a little bit more than I'd say some other places. Because they
more than IMDb?
Maybe. I Love Lucy, which I never actually saw. Texaco Star Theater. These are old. Never mind. These are all really old. I don't even know these. All right, well, fuck that then.
So, but let's, we could look at lists all day, from different sources. We've talked about a lot of different TV shows, and I'll be honest, one of my top 5 shows has not made any of these lists.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
2 of my top 5 shows
well, what's the
have
other
not
one?
made any of these lists.
What's the other one?
The Peaky Blinders.
Oh, you do love Peaky Blinders. Well, that's British television, so,
It's still, one of the best shows I've watched. It's kind of like a crime drama. Have you seen the show at all?
Nope.
It's phenomenal. I mean, it's basically about these guys. They're after a war in England. It's early 1900s. And they're like a small town family gang. They're called the Peaky Blinders. And the story is about them rising up and fighting bigger gangs, and how the head of the family, it's actually really interesting because the head of the family is actually not the oldest brother. He is the second oldest. And the oldest brother is the fucking bruiser and enforcer in the show. And they do a ton of really cool things. The acting is phenomenal. The storylines are just amazing.
That's what matters the most in a TV show. Yes.
And so, yeah, that is by far one of my top 5 shows of all time.
I can see that. There's a lot of shows with a lot of cult followings, too. You got to think about that. Like Doctor Who has a fucking cult following.
I've never watched Doctor Who.
I don't think you'd like it.
No?
No, I don't think you'd like it. I liked it, but I liked it 10 years ago. So it's a little different,
Yeah.
especially back then. Now they actually brought back an old doctor to come like fix the show. Brought an old writer and an old actor back to fix the show again because it just abysmal. But we'll see. British television can be kind of good, I guess, with Peaky Blinders. Sherlock was really popular for a while there.
Yeah, with
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes.
That was his start, I think. That really brought him up. It was popular, and it was good. I watched some of it. It wasn't bad. I mean, I'd watch it. But there's the difference between like shows that you watch and that you pay attention to 100% of the time, like Game of Thrones. Because you've got to, because there's so much going on. But then there's shows that you just sit back on the couch and you just kind of zone out to, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
The Office,
Big Bang Theory, Friends.
Yeah, shows that if you miss 2 episodes and then if you miss episode 12 and 13 in the season, you watch 14, you're not going to be completely lost. Like, you might have some catching up to do, but it's not like, holy fuck, what the hell just happened?
Exactly.
There's shows that are made. Parks and Recs is another one. 30 Rock. Things along those lines where they're just kind of those sitcoms.
And I love me a sitcom.
I really do as well. Like, I love watching cheesy television.
Yeah.
One of my current shows that I watch is super cheesy. It's called The Rookie.
My dad watches it all the time.
It is so cheesy. Like, the one guy will get shot, and then 20 minutes later in the episode, when it's like an hour later in the actual show, and he's like, nope, let's go get back to work and do this. And it's like, motherfucker, you just got shot. And then he'll go get shot again. And then the end of the episode, he's at home, and it's like, you got shot twice in one day. Like, you got in 2 gunfights. Come on.
God damn it. Yeah. You say you like that, yet you don't watch Golden Girls. That blows my mind.
I never got into it.
It's not something you would like.
And I've seen every episode of Full House. Every single episode.
Oh, that's Boy Meets World.
Oh yeah,
that was one of my favorites. I
loved Boy Meets World growing up.
Do you know they did the spinoff?
Yeah, Girl Meets World.
Apparently, it wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't.
No one can, replace Mr. Feeney. So
exactly. Well, I mean, but there's a lot of those old like sitcoms from when I was growing up that they kind of like. A couple of them did really well. Like, they did Home Improvement with Tim Allen.
Yep.
But then they did Last Man Standing.
That did really bad because of the political views on it.
It got canceled on on one station, and then actually got picked up on another. I'm not going to get into the political, but basically they got canceled because Tim Allen told them that microaggressions were fucking bullshit. Like, they had this episode where he had to give a speech at his daughter's college graduation. Mm-hmm. And he was like, welcome everybody. And he's there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. She's like, oh, you can't say that. And he's like, why can't I say that? And he goes, well, because you're not talking to everybody. Because he goes, well, who the fuck am I talking to if it's not everybody? And she's like, basically told him he had to rewrite this whole speech because it would be offensive to people and this and that. And he's like, not doing it.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And it was like an immediate cancel of the show. Like, not even a couple of days, couple of hours. Like, they aired the episode and they were canceled the next day. Like, they cut mid-season, like episode 16 of 24.
What the fuck?
Show's done. See you later. And then Fox picked him up and restarted doing episodes.
That's about right, yeah.
Right?
That just kind of slid on in there, yep.
Well, it really kind of crazy to me because, I mean, obviously capitalism. The show's making money. I mean, it was a really popular show.
Yeah. It's Tim Allen's Santa Claus.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a pretty prominent figure. Not that he's super political in anything he does, but he's very outspoken about what he believes is right and wrong.
Yeah,
Like it's not that he doesn't want to be political about it. He's not like trying to run for office. But if you tell him something stupid, he's going to tell you to fuck off.
And he's not. It's not like he's being malicious about it either. He's not. Like,
no.
He's not saying, "Oh, fuck these people, fuck that, those people." He's just like, "I'm not doing that."
No, he's not Ted Nugent about it. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Uncle Ted, but
it's just I can agree with that. If that's how you're gonna live your life, then live your fucking life and stick with it. And he did.
Yeah, and he did, and he has, and I mean, and there's a lot of people that do that, and I absolutely respect people that are willing to do that.
Me too, especially as an entertainer, where your money is made off of people liking you.
Yeah,
that's their livelihood.
Yeah. Do you need to call somebody out? I just need to get a little refresher.
A little refresher. Ooh, that's gonna hurt tomorrow. Just so everyone's aware, I'm drinking Polar Bear. And it was $6. It tastes like I'm licking the asshole of a polar bear. It's disgusting.
This episode of Sammies and Beer was brought to you by Polar Bear.
Polar Bear. They had like a two for $12 special. So,
have you ever wondered what? Have you ever wondered what a polar bear's butthole tastes like? Drink Polar Bear. We'll let you know.
This one's called Cruto. It looks vaguely Japanese, but I doubt it is. 9 times distilled. That's a bad sign. This one's 8 times distilled. It says.
Do you know what? Do you have like one of those purifiers, like a water purifier?
I do.
A Brita filter.
But
I would really be interested to see if that actually works. Going and buying a Brita filter, and then pouring your cheap vodka into it to see if it tastes better.
How much do they cost?
I don't know. I don't think they're too expensive, but
I mean that could be our next installment.
Well, that could be. I need to put you to the test with what you say your beer knowledge is, and give you 5 random samples of beer.
I think I could.
And
yeah,
I think you'd maybe get 1.
I think I'd get at least 2.
No, I don't even know if I could get 2. Maybe. But
all right, I found one. It's from China. Would it still work?
I would imagine. I mean, I can't imagine the filtering process is different whether it comes from China or the U.S.
It's half.
You never know.
The only issue is that it's bright pink.
So, your dad might ask you some questions, but
it works. No change to flavor. Great, clean taste. Water filter. All right, add to cart.
So let's get back on track here.
Sorry, I lost it for a minute.
So I want to hear. I gave one of my top 5, and I don't expect you to be able to put them in order because I'm not a big fan of putting things in order.
That's fair.
Because it's like, how can I say that this is my number 1? Because it might be my number 1 today, but tomorrow or 2 days from now, I might totally go on a different streak, and another one might be my favorite.
That's fair.
So that's why I like to go, top 5. Like these are the 5 best. So what is one of the top 5 best shows?
So, and I'll put labels on them, right? This is my comfort show. If I'm having a bad day, or I need to go to sleep, or something, I just need a zone, I put on Supernatural.
Supernatural, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long-running show, too.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very long-running. Like, aren't they on, like,
it just ended
15 seasons?
I think on 17?
17?
Something like
That's
that.
fucking crazy.
It's a lot. Like, but it's interesting.
Like, I'm pretty sure that show's made it to daytime television. That's how long it's been running.
I think so, too. I like it. I like the spookiness of it, but then there's also, like, the violence and the fighting and everything. And then, the characters overall make the story. Granted, they all die as many times as fucking Goku, but die and come back. Die. One of them dies, and you're just like, he'll be back next season. Like, wow, that's fine.
He'll be back next week. It's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. Death is just and then the god is a man named Chuck. Yeah. It's the show's bananas, but it's funny. I like watching it, and that is I've watched it since I was a kid.
Okay.
When I restart it, they have
Yeah.
fucking flip phones.
Yeah.
So, and I have other comfort shows like Friends, Always Sunny, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but Supernatural is just that one heavy hitter for me every time, and my girlfriend really likes it too. So that's what we usually fall asleep to.
For sure.
Give me your favorite story narratively, like your favorite show story. The one you watch and you were just like, holy shit, this is good. But that you probably won't watch again because all the excitement was in the twists in the story. Yeah, that's a tough one, huh?
It is. Because there's I would say I could give you two that have been my favorite stories and I've gone back and watched them, even with the twists and turns and Vikings.
I still haven't seen that.
A History Show channel. And I absolutely loved the story of Ragnar Lothbrok. I didn't like it, the show kind of drug on. The main character, spoiler alert, the show's started in 2013, so
I think we're fine.
The main character dies in one season, and his kids, they keep this show going with his kids. And I really did like it was. I watched it, but it wasn't as like compelling of a story. But I really, really enjoyed that.
Okay, that's good.
I guess maybe I'm going to go with 3 because there's another one that's popping into my head now. I've watched a lot I love watching TV shows, and I actually think I'm really surprised that like with I actually think that a lot of movies, like books, instead of being made into movies, are going to be going more towards TV shows.
Oh, I hope
so. And I don't understand why we've waited so long to do this. Because like, if you think about like the Lord of the Rings, you watched the director's edition.
3.5 hours each one.
3.5 hours for each one. The regulars are 3 hours. How awesome would it have been if you could have gotten 2 seasons out of that?
That'd have been pretty cool.
Like, they could have probably made a full season out of the first book.
If not more, yeah.
And like the Rings of Power, like I know a lot of Lord of the Rings fans are saying, don't watch it because it's not attached to whatever. I couldn't fucking care any less. If somebody writes a good story, I'm not a purist on any of that. Like, same with Star Wars.
I was about to say the same thing because, like, the new Star Wars movies, they're like, "Oh, it's garbage." Star Wars is still Star Wars. Like, I'm still gonna watch it.
I still want to know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, the only thing I didn't like about the new Star Wars was the fact that they killed off like the heroes from when I was growing up. Like Han Solo dies.
Well, he was old.
I don't care. He's fucking Han Solo.
If he didn't die from that, he just died from liver disease 2 years later. Like,
yeah, that's fine. I'd rather have him die from that than getting fucking stabbed by his own son.
And they weren't going to kill Leia, but then she died in real life. So,
well, yeah, I mean that was kind of
they didn't have a choice.
Exactly. That I'm okay with. But
Luke needed to die.
Luke did, and I thought they did it in such a good way. Like, they kind of ruined his character though. Like,
yeah, like
Hugo and his dad is evil, and he has so much faith in him. And I'm not going to fight you because I believe there's still good in you, and you're still Anakin. You had a bad dream. I'm going to fucking murder you. Like,
but even then, at that point, Luke was still a kid.
Yeah,
he was my age. I consider myself still a kid.
You're not. You're not.
I pay bills and stuff.
Do you?
I do now. Yes. It sucks. It fucking sucks.
So yeah, Vikings for sure. Another story that really enthralled me was The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely loved The Walking Dead.
I don't know about that though.
But for me, one of my favorite genres to watch is post-apocalypse.
That's fair. That's fun
type
stuff.
shows. I absolutely love theories, watching all that stuff. I mean, movies, all of it. I love watching that kind of stuff. So that was one that just really hit home. I thought they did a fantastic job with the writing, and there was a lot of twists and turns, things that you didn't see coming, which even in a zombie apocalypse, throwing twists in there is not an easy thing to do.
It's true.
You know, I mean, throwing surprises, things like that. And I thought they did a great job. One of my favorite characters was actually fucking Shane, who was a total D-bag in the show.
Dickhead. But I mean...
But I absolutely love the guy because it's the end of the world. Like, I get it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, I get it.
Can't be too mad.
No. So...
I feel... And I have this... It's not just with Walking Dead. With any zombie show or movie or IP at all, it moves away from zombie fighting and more to people fighting. Because realistically, that is what would happen, right? Zombies become just like a force of nature. But I love that first 2 weeks of a zombie show or anything.
Yeah.
That initial... Oh, that's my favorite.
Well, and realistically, I mean, you think about it. I mean, there's only going to be so many zombies. So at the end of the day, there's only especially you live in where I live. I mean, granted, yeah, they said it in Georgia, but I mean, there's 400 million people in the U.S. So each person kills 10 zombies a day. There's not a lot of zombies left after a year or two.
Yeah, and think about it, major cities and stuff or towns, how many people do the zombie apocalypse happen and they have a roast in the oven? It leaves the oven on. And that burns down the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And burns how many zombies in that process and, things along those lines are... I mean, obviously they're zombies. There's got to be some that walk into the ocean. Next week, we're talking about zombies. That's okay. That's going to be our... we're going to go too deep right now into zombies because I think we could talk about it for an hour. Yeah. So next week. My other show that popped into my head, and I actually saw it on IMDb, was The 100. So I started it and never finished it. See, I've actually watched through it twice. It was too teen angsty for me. It got a lot of teen angst to it. I will 100% agree with you on that. But again, my love for post-apocalypse type shows fought me through it. And they get some good twists and turns. Because one of the things that I found with shows like that is you get the first season and somebody spends years writing a first season. Yeah. And they're like, hey, we've got these twists. We've got these turns. This is how it's going to go. This is what's going to happen. And they get it greenlit. And they make the first season and it fucking explodes. And they're like, hey, it was awesome. We need a second season. And they're like, oh, fuck. Shit. You have 30 days to come up with a second season. Well, fuck, I just spent the last 5 years writing the first one. Yeah. And so then shows really lose those twists, those turns. And I felt like that show, as much as, as long as you can get over the teenage angst of it, was able to provide some realistic jumps and twists and turns, to where I was okay with it. I really enjoyed that show. I will say it was it's one if I could probably start it again tomorrow, and I would be like, I need to watch the next episode. I might finish it then. Well, I have to restart it. It's been years. Yeah, I might do that. I'm interested. So I've been trying to think this whole time about because I don't want to pick a show that's a book, right? Because the book's the story. The show's just the medium. I can't really think of one. Game of Thrones, of course, but that's a book. Well, but I mean, isn't a show really just a book? Somebody putting a book into their vision? Yes, but I'm trying to give credit to something that's wasn't a book to begin with, right? It's I love The Witcher, which is one of my favorites. Was a book and a video game, so that hardly counts. I'll have to come back to that because I really cannot think of Besides, okay, I guess Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. But it's mainly like if we were doing categories, that would be character development for me. Doctor Who's character development every time. So I don't know. And I guess it's also I haven't really watched that much television. You know.
See, and when COVID hit, like I've watched exponentially more, and when having kids too, like especially when kids are younger, you get stuck at home, and so you have a beer, you watch a TV show, or you've got 4 hours of TV to watch, because the kids are sleeping, and you can't make a bunch of noise. You got to have something to do, and that's what I spent a lot of my time doing. And then working from home, when COVID hit and stuff like that, I spent a lot of time. I just put a TV show on while I was working, and I could pay attention to both.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I've rewatched a lot of my favorite shows in that time frame too.
I can see that.
So, and watching them the second time definitely makes it a lot easier because you don't have to pay as close of attention. But you still can catch, like, when you are watching, you'd be like, oh, I forgot about that. Or,
seeing things you didn't see before.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like reading a book.
Yeah. Except a lot less time is involved with it. So.
Ask me and your wife. We can knock a book down in like a day.
Yeah, I could knock a TV show out in a day.
I guess that's fair. It's all about what you like to do.
Yeah. I'm a visual person, so.
Yeah, that's fair. Best show with humor. Your favorite show with, like, it's meant to be a comedy, right? It's supposed to be funny.
I'm gonna let you go first on this one because I'm really gonna need a minute.
I have it on the drop. South Park is my favorite show to watch when I want to laugh. It actually makes me laugh. Because like other shows, like I'll just breathe out my nose a little extra when something funny happens. South Park, I find myself physically laughing at some of the shit that they say and do. Because it's so outlandish. And other people are like, oh, Always Sunny, Seinfeld, all these other shows. But those shows are about like assholes being assholes. South Park is just so off the wall, but not as nuts as like Family Guy, where it's just stupid. South Park is stupid in its own weird way.
Yeah, I can definitely understand. I mean, I've had to quit watching South Park because of kids and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
They would want to watch it, and I don't have the time to explain to them why Cartman's calling Stan's mom a bitch.
And that's why my nephews, because they tricked my grandparents into letting them watch it, that's why my nephews know what a penis is. And a vagina.
Well, they're boys, so they should know what a penis is beforehand.
Well, yes, but they had different words for it. Or hermaphrodite and AIDS and a couple other things. I'm just like, where did you learn this shit?
Yeah.
And I see it on the TV in the living room. My grandma's like, I don't think this show is age appropriate. It's fucking not.
I'm 25 and I don't know if I should be watching it.
Yeah, it's bad. South Park is bad. But it's funny. Like Token, the black kid, his name was Token because he's the token black kid for like a decade. Yep. And then you come to find out that his name is actually Tolkien. After the guy who wrote Lord of the Rings. It's just like, oh shit.
Funny story. Somebody posted this. They actually, in Wakanda Forever, there's really only like 2 white characters in the show, and they were both in Lord of the Rings, and so they were the token white characters.
That's hilarious. There were really only 2 white characters?
Yeah, there's not many.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's what they were going. It's like white characters in a Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah.
That's what they're going for. Go for it. I don't give a fuck.
No, I don't care.
If it's a good movie, I'll still watch it. Like, who cares?
It was okay.
I haven't seen the first one. I haven't seen either of the Black Panthers. First
one was good.
I hated the fact that, and I've hated it since the comics, that they had vibranium, and it was Cat's shield, and it was rare, and it was important, and then you just find a civilization full of people that just use it like copper. Like, are you fucking serious? You know what I mean?
And they hoard it all to themselves.
yeah, it was weird. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
The main actor, the Black Panther, awesome. Loved it. Loved that.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, the second movie was a huge tribute just to him.
I figured. Oh yeah.
Like, and that was almost like I almost didn't like it for that aspect, which is going to make me sound like a total dick.
No,
but
there's a balance. It shouldn't be the whole movie. There should be a snippet, like a portion where it's important. Like Paul Walker at the end of Fast Five.
Exactly. Like it was a very, very small portion.
But it was important. It was so small, which made it so impactful.
Exactly. Yeah, it was very drawn out in my opinion.
And that just makes it icky.
No. It was like I was watching her in memoriam. I did love that with I don't know if you ever when you watch The Walking Dead, if you ever watched Talking Dead afterwards, they always did an in memoriam for all the people that died in the show because they killed off so many fucking characters.
It's awesome. I love a show that's not afraid to kill somebody.
Yes. Yes, I love a show that really anything goes.
I will say, I figured it out. I figured out my story show, and I will say you're gonna make fun of me a little bit for it because it's not a TV show. It's actually an anime.
That makes sense.
I watched it when I was in high school. It's so gross, right? Just titties but it's called Gurren Lagann. It was about humans being oppressed by literal beast people in giant mechs. And it's just the whole story you think is about this one character for the first few episodes, and he's boisterous and he's loud. He's classic anime that's super annoying. And then he gets fucking wrecked. He gets fucking demolished. But then you look and you pay attention, and his little brother the whole time has been the secret to his success. And there's an episode of depression where he misses him. And then he rises up and takes down the oppressors. And then they get aliens that come and try to fuck them up. And he basically goes from using a sword and shield to literally throwing galaxies at aliens. Like a fucking frisbee. Because it's anime. It's ridiculous. It's bananas.
Yeah.
That's the point. But that story, like the guy doesn't win. The main character doesn't win at all. He loses his brother. The love of his life also dies. Like, he basically just goes back to being a nobody while the rest of the universe prospers because he saved everybody. And he's just like, yeah, okay, fuck you guys, I'm gonna go do my thing. And he just dips because he's depressed. It's realistic. I loved it. That is by far my favorite story. Fuck, yeah, I'm gonna watch that again. I watched it like 10 times. I'm gonna do that again.
As of right now, my favorite comedy that I can just go put on right now is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That makes sense.
I mean, it is just so chill, and there's parts like you said where it's just like I laugh out loud. Like there's certain scenes, and I know they're coming, and I still laugh my ass off. Like I'll be laying in bed watching the show as I'm trying to fall asleep. I'll have my eyes closed, and they'll say like the one part where they're talking about loopholes, and I think I brought this up to you before, and he's like, well, that's a loophole. I don't like to use loopholes. Like if I'm going to use a hole, I like to use the main hole. That's the only hole that I choose to use. And Boyle goes, you said hole a lot there. And he goes, and Jake looks at him and he goes, yeah, you did. And that's coming from Boyle. And Holt looks at him and he goes, and that bothers me.
or I love it when they're trying to get out of something and Holt just plays the gay card. And Terry's like, did you just play the gay card on me? Yes, Queen. Hilarious. You're right.
Yeah.
That makes me laugh. The last season wasn't great.
Did you watch it finally?
I watched the first 2 episodes and I stopped.
Oh yeah, it's not good.
I was just like, I'm gonna hold on to how I thought.
I was really surprised. Like they had always kind of had some political, like a little bit of political agenda, especially because it was when a lot of shit was going down, especially with police and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was okay with like they'd throw some funny jokes, but bring them kind of serious, and it's like okay, like I get it, like. You want to be culturally relevant, which was one of the funniest things about South Park South Park gets written like 3 days before it airs.
Yeah.
So they're culturally relevant.
They're the most
And-
relevant.
And so Brooklyn Nine-Nine tried to do some of that, and they missed a lot of it.
They did
in
it,
my opinion.
They did it tastefully sometimes, though.
Yes.
Like when Terry gets pulled over because he's black, they didn't overdo it. Because a lot of shows will overdo it. They just did their thing, and then it ended.
I don't know. I will say that happened. I seem to see a lot of those episodes. Like it, they do a ton of shows do that episode.
Oh, a ton of shows. Oh, of course they have to do it. They have to do it. It's like almost like a requirement. No, but they will.
They do though. Like they all do it. It's like, hey, we're out of shit to write about. Like, we got the ace in our pocket. Should we play it? No, we'll save it for another year. Now let's do it. Fuck it, let's go. Like,
it's just. I guess that's show business. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, and then like, you know, when Rosa comes out to her parents and, you know.
That was pretty funny.
They played it really funny, but it was one of those that was like, they were being culturally relevant.
He's like, yeah, do we have to do this? Because I know nowadays, actually, no one gives a fuck if you're gay. And shows will just be like, that's the gay one, and then move on.
Yeah.
They're just gay. Cool.
Wasn't that how it should be?
Yes, it normalizes it. It stops it from being this big thing.
Like,
sorry, Egg. I know you're watching. Maybe not. It's not a big deal that you're gay. No one cares.
No. Be you.
Yeah, who cares?
If people have a problem with it, fuck them. Don't be friends with them.
Yeah, tell them to go fuck themselves. They might.
Yeah.
One more polar bear. 46 minutes.
Oh yeah, we're in it.
Oh, because it's just so good at talking about TV shows.
Well, and like I said, I love TV shows, movies, so I definitely partake in plenty of both. That face says it all. That polar bear butthole. Does that make you partially gay because you licked a polar bear's butthole?
I don't think that makes me any gay at all. I think that makes me a pervert.
Oh, okay. A pervert.
It could be a girl polar bear.
So I want one more from you.
One more show?
Nope. I want, so in the comedy shows, there's always one like just totally off the wall character that does weird random shit. With like Charlie in but a lot of shows have less subtle ones that are just kind of background characters. Charlie's the main character. What's your favorite background character from a comedy show?
I have one that's not a comedy show, you cocksucker.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's two things. This character is both my favorite background character of all time ever, but he's also his story is my favorite love story of all time.
Okay.
And you're not going to know him because he's from Doctor Who. But picture this. You're a dude, and some alien in a fucking phone booth basically comes and steals your girl away. And you're about to get married. And you just deal with it. They come back, you find them, and you go off with them, and you go on all these adventures and aliens and guns and fucking crazy. Well, not guns, because they don't kill anybody, but it's like, you know, all these crazy adventures. And the whole time, she is clearly falling in love with the main character, and you're just like, no, don't do that. No. You die. You're like, you fucking die. Get turned into an android, right? That can never fix itself, but you can live forever, and then your love of your life gets locked into a box that will not open for 2,000 years. She's fine, she's in stasis, she's good, but she's locked in that box. After doing all of that, going through all of that, he stays, because the doctor could travel through time. He just jumped to when the box was going to open, but the guy I'm talking about wasn't sure if she would be safe. And he could live forever. He's an android.
Mm-hmm.
So he stayed, and he waited.
Aww.
The whole fucking time. What a homie. He waited his ass right there. For both of them, it was seconds. But for him, he literally like waited 2,000 years And
For a girl that was falling for somebody else?
yep, because he loved her. And she retrospectively looked back at all the stuff that he did, and he died again by being sent back in time, and he couldn't come back. He couldn't travel through time anymore. He got sent back in time, and he was stuck. And so she took the leap and was sent back with him, and they both grew old together and died. It was very cute, very very cute. But he was just my favorite because
Kind of a Captain America type story.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. But he was just my favorite because the level of commitment he went up against. He was just a normal fucking dude. He wasn't like super smart. He wasn't a fighter. He wasn't anything else. He was just a normal dude who did everything because he had the fucking balls for it. He was scared the whole time, but he just took his fat balls and just dropped them on a table.
Fair enough.
He's my favorite side character of all time.
Nice.
His kid ends up marrying the main character also. It's very weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, after she tries to kill Hitler. It's a very weird show. There's a lot going on with it.
After she tries to kill Hitler, just throw that little nugget on there.
So much that happens. It's so hard to keep track of. But that show is where weeping angels come from. Like the angel statues that move when you blink. They move so fast and they're just getting closer every time you blink. That fear, that's where that comes from.
Okay.
Super cool. Super good show. You should not watch it, though. you won't like it.
Fair enough.
What about you? Who's your favorite side humor character?
My favorite side humor character is Nate from The Office. You've watched The Office and you don't even remember him.
No, yeah.
When he first airs on the show, Dwight hires him to help him with the building, and he lays out tools for him to take down a hornet's nest in a tree. One's a bat, one's a blowtorch, and just his whole character aspect. Like, there was one point he's in the warehouse, and all the warehouse people quit, and he gets hired on there at that point to work in the warehouse. And he's like, just to let you know, it's not that I'm deaf, but when there's a lot of noises, I have trouble distinguishing where people are talking from, so I can't hear you. But it's not because I'm deaf, but it's because I have trouble distinguishing noises. So he tells him this, and then he leaves, and two of the main characters are then talking, and he just walks up in the middle of it and is like, hey, did you tell him what I told you about my hearing? That it's not that I can't hear. And just, he does stupid shit like that the whole time. And just, the character was written so perfectly to where you're like, I can believe you're actually a real person because I can see real people doing this dumb shit.
Someone doing that. There are compilations of quotes from this guy. I didn't even remember him.
Yeah. He is by far my favorite, just like background character, but is just fucking hilarious.
Gum's gotten mintier lately. Have you noticed?
Yeah. Gum's gotten a lot mintier lately. Have you noticed?
What the fuck?
He is just a phenomenal character.
I need to rewatch just to see this guy. I don't even remember him. Do we get our resumes back, or do you keep them? Okay.
So
I can't say I know any side characters that are like that. That are that funny.
Yeah, I mean, and he was just a total, like, if you thought of The Office, you would never in a million years would have thought of Nate.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
You know?
Yeah.
No. Like, I mean, so he was just one of those characters that was on the show that was just fucking hilarious. So.
Okay.
What is your favorite type of show to watch?
If I'm feeling it, right, definitely a story-driven fantasy. Lord of the Rings style, Game of Thrones style. If I can pay attention and really am feeling a story, that's what I want to watch. Sci-fi, not really. Doctor Who is like the outlier. For the most part, I don't really like sci-fi. But if for the everyday, just
You don't really like sci-fi?
mm-mm.
Isn't that what you just said your favorite comfort show is?
Yep,
Isn't that really science fiction?
yep.
Like Supernatural.
Well, I mean, it's supernatural. Science fiction's like futuristic. It's like the opposites of each other.
Oh, I didn't know we made those distinctions. Sorry, I guess.
Clearly you don't read.
No.
You're not going to find a supernatural book in a science fiction section. It's going to be like robots and starships and aliens and stuff like that over here. And supernatural's like vampires, werewolves, ghosts. They're two totally separate entities. I mean, I'll watch it, but I will never seek out a sci-fi show. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just not.
So, like, iRobot's not something that's up your alley.
Not really. I watched it. It was good. Didn't like it that much.
I watched it. It was good. Didn't like it that much.
I can understand why people thought it was good. It was good, well written, good story. It ended. Also, it's done. They're not doing a sequel. Makes me very happy about that. But it was okay. Robots going crazy.
So what about like Terminator?
Nah, I could live without it.
All right.
Like I said, Doctor Who, Star Wars, kind of the outliers. I don't like sci-fi. It's not my favorite thing. I love a post-apocalyptic show, just like anyone else, and I like fantasy. Swords, shields, and magic. Give me wizards. Give me hot elves with big titties. Give them to me. That's my favorite thing. But that's if I'm paying attention. If I'm not, then honestly something funny like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or just a couch potato show. I don't like Friends anymore.
You shouldn't have liked Friends in the first place.
I liked it as a kid. It's cringy.
It was just Seinfeld written in current times.
It was, okay, Seinfeld's about assholes.
Friends is about assholes.
They're not assholes.
They are.
Phoebe Buffay and Joey Tribbiani are not assholes.
No, they're morons.
Well, yeah.
They're dumb characters written. The rest are assholes.
You have Seinfeld, Always Sunny, right? That was the translation. Seinfeld became Always Sunny. You have Friends and How I Met Your Mother. They go just like that. Yep, 100%. Mm-hmm. I will die on this hill.
I would disagree on that.
You're wrong.
I'm not.
It's just how it is, man.
Seinfeld set the bar.
They go to jail for being assholes.
Yeah.
No one in Friends goes to jail.
Friends is just politically correct Seinfeld.
I wouldn't call it politically correct.
Friends?
Have you seen a few episodes of Friends recently?
No.
Ooh.
Well, but it was politically correct for the 90s when it was out.
Yeah, for the time, I guess. They make fun of a lot of gays in our Friends.
Yeah, there was a lot of shows that did that back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you used to be able to drop F-bombs. And I don't mean fuck.
Yeah. That was a wake-up call when you learned that you can't use that word no more.
Right?
I was just like, I've been using it for years.
That was one of my favorites. And I didn't mean offense to anybody by it either.
Trying to be mean. Whatever. It's whatever. But that is the natural progression. It's Friends to How I Met Your Mother, Seinfeld to Always Sunny. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. That is a well-opinionated thing.
Yeah.
Why are you working right now? That was weird. But what about you? What's that one show?
What do you mean?
Like that one, like if you, perfect. Okay. You have a bunker, but right when the nukes are dropping, you realize, I forgot to stock my DVDs. And you have the chance as you're running out the door, your shelf is next to you to grab one box set of one show. And let's just pretend you have all of them. And you have to grab it and get downstairs. Which show are you grabbing?
That's a really tough question.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't even have an answer. One show.
As of right now, honestly, it's got to be Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like,
okay, yeah.
That's like, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, that's what I watch when I go to bed. I mean, that's what my comfort is, and but it's hard to say what I'm gonna be if I watched it 25 times because I got kind of to that point with The Office where it was like, all right, I've watched through The Office 7 times now. Like,
I'm done.
it's time. What I could go back and watch it again now because I've watched through Brooklyn Nine-Nine like 3 times.
Yeah.
But but I've traditionally done that with a show. Like I have a show, like that's how I watched through all of Full House, was because it was on cable television when I was going to bed. It was from 2 to 4 in the morning, but I was in college at the time.
That's fair then.
And so, when I came back to my dorm room and I was pissed drunk and going to bed, I'd put Full House on and I'd watch an episode and then I'd fall asleep. And that's traditionally how I've watched a lot of TV shows is I watch an episode or a half an episode and then I go to sleep. And thought you were done with the polar bear's buttholes.
There was just a little sip left.
Ugh. But that's how I've started. And so, yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, as of right now, like I said, but I could also be strategic with it and be like, oh, I should have Alone with me. So that way I learn how to build shelters and shit.
Oh, but, yeah. Okay.
But I'm not going to be that guy.
Let's just pretend you have like manuals and stuff in your bunker. Like you're set. If this is purely entertainment, I pick Supernatural.
Purely entertainment. I don't know. I might have to go with a show like The Simpsons so that way I get fucking 27 years of fucking footage, or South Park.
Or just little sprinkles of different genres and stuff.
Well, that, and you get, The Simpsons has been running for
a while.
That's a lot of different episodes.
Did you see that Martin, the nerdy kid from The Simpsons, is actually a 30-year-old man?
In the show?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I haven't watched The Simpsons in fucking 15 years.
It was a clip on TikTok. He gets home, he's like, oh, no. He walks through the door, takes off his shirt, he's got a pot belly and a wife beater on, and he's talking to his wife in a different voice. Your kids don't even know you. Like he's from New York. It was hilarious. The Simpsons is relevant still to this day, and that's bananas.
Oh, yeah. They were there. Like, I think The Simpsons definitely led the way for a show like South.
Oh, for sure. The Simpsons led the way for all shows, all animated shows, adult animated shows. Like Family Guy, South Park. Vox Machina. I don't know if you didn't really watch it, did you? I didn't think you liked it. I watched
a little bit. I wasn't too enthralled with it.
I just don't think you'd like the animated shows.
See, but the weird thing is I watched Dragon Ball Z, like the Battle of Frieza and all that stuff. And I fucking loved that.
That's anime. That's a little different.
But
I don't know. I liked Vox Machina. I still feel like you should finish it, just the first season, just so you can see how I'm trying to write our D&D campaigns. By the way, we play D&D. We did. We haven't in a while.
We don't play D&D anymore.
It's dead. We will.
It's fine. You got an adult job. You had to fucking change your priorities, and it didn't work anymore.
I did.
It happens. Life happens. Shit happens.
We're gonna finish the story one day. It could take a while.
It's gonna take one. We've got like one episode left, maybe two.
Two, because of the boss fight's going to be pretty intense.
Well, and I think I'm safe to save this because I don't think any of our campaign listens to our episodes.
Daniel does.
You know what needs to happen at the end of this?
What?
If shit goes sideways and we're fighting this final boss, Marduk needs to come back and finish it.
You have no idea.
I know that's what you had planned. You son of a bitch. I knew it.
Well, now I have to change it. But
no, you don't. Just fucking leave it.
So also,
I've been preparing my Marduk voice for weeks.
I have a little tidbit for you. If people roll bad, I'm not going to kill them. I will if they roll too bad. But people are going to start losing limbs on this fight.
Fucking, that's amazing.
Like losing limbs, eyes, ears, the works. You're going to be fighting a dragon, as you could probably piece together. So
yeah, fucking burn some shit off.
You know, we should do a D&D podcast too, like an episode about Dungeons and Dragons. I think people would appreciate it. One of my new coworkers, he's like, "Do you have any room?" I said, "I don't even play anymore." So
yeah, like,
bro, I'm here.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, I definitely see that. Maybe someday. Maybe if you take a Monday off from work sometime.
I can. But then if I take a Monday off, I have to switch it to a Thursday. And we can't have that.
You can do the podcast tired.
No.
And I will say that makes me really happy that you value our podcast more than you value our D&D sessions.
Oh, I value this podcast. I'm supposed to be in bed right now. I got to be up at like 4:30.
Yeah.
I do not care.
As you take shots of fucking polar bear's buttholes.
It's to put my ass down. I'm going to lay in that bed. I'm going to get the spins a little bit, and then I'm
going to have one foot on the floor. And
tomorrow's not a busy day for me. I've got re-enlistment, some paperwork, and then we're going to a comedy club at 7.
In the morning?
PM.
You're saying you have to be there at 4.
Yeah, well, that's
re-enlistment paperwork, and then you're going to a comedy club at 7?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are you doing the rest of the time?
Work. I have stuff to do there.
What?
Okay, so we're changing a lot. Well, we'll talk about it after the podcast. Hold on. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching today.
You don't have any questions this fine Thursday?
No, it's only been an hour. I do have one, but that I'm gonna save closer to Christmas.
No,
it's a Christmas related question, and I need to go to bed, sir.
Fine. Pull your bitch ass stuff. You do you, baby.
Fuck. I'm tired. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this episode of Sammies and Beer. This is your Thursday episode on December 1st, the first day of December. We are one step closer to Christmas. 24 days left, folks. Thank you. God bless. Toodles!